Mark Gurman leaks all the 2022 operating system code names. I'm iCave Dave and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you, and if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 1300 UTC, like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. And yes, we have operating system code names. These are for the iOS 16, tvOS 16, etc. generation of software. So we've got ROS. This is presumably realityOS, so the operating system for Apple's headsets, whether that's AR or VR. I think they're going to use the same one, maybe branching slightly like iOS and iPadOS. That is called Oak. iOS 16 is codenamed as Sydney, macOS 13 is Rome, and tvOS is Paris. Now, there's no mention of iPadOS here, which may or may not mean anything, but the first thing that it brings to mind for me is that iPadOS is still developed as simply a branch of iOS rather than as a platform of its own. That said, there's also nothing here for the watch either. Now, I'd love to make a video on the wish list for the next version of these operating systems, so drop your wants down from a software point of view into the comments section. I'll start you off with a few of mine. Replace files with Finder in iOS and iPadOS. Theme and icon framework for the iPhone, iPad, and why not, while we're at it, the Mac. Split screen multitasking on larger iPhone models, especially as we look like we're probably going to get bigger iPhone models in the regular and the Pro this year. Pro apps finally coming to the iPad, like Final Cut and Logic and stuff like that. I think Motion would be really good to use on the iPad as well, or like an Apple version of After Effects, which I guess Motion is the closest thing we have, but you could get a lot better than that. But those are my biggest hopes and dreams, so let me know in the comments what you would like too. Also, before we get to your iCave answers, Apple was the first company in the world in the past week to hit the $3 trillion market cap. So that's kind of exciting if you're into stocks. I don't particularly care about stocks and stock markets, but this is news and also about Apple, so it seemed worth mentioning on an Apple News show. Also, I'm not going to plug the Cupertino collection that's available at iCaveDave.com/merch today, so you don't need to worry about that. Let's get into your iCave answers. First up, Thomas Rabenstein asks, iCave answers, I see that the AirPods Pros are on the cover of today's show. This was obviously yesterday, and have already heard that Apple is working on the second generation. For me, AirPods Pros are a daily companion and I use them all the time. I wonder what else Apple could add to the already excellent earphones. Well, obviously, if you were watching yesterday, you'll see that I think one of the big marquee features is going to be that lossless audio, and I think that's going to make a huge difference to a lot of people. That's going to be a massive reason for people to buy this new pair of the AirPods Pro. I think they might go up as well in price. I think they could well go to like $299. But I do think that there is a possibility, at least for health features. I think there will be a generation of people that don't want to run with their iPhones, so they could move some of the health features into the earphones. Potentially an infrared thermometer, that would make a lot of sense to go into the ear, just like you use a lot of infrared thermometers in the ear already. There's also been talk of respiration rate, where the microphones will be listening to your breathing rate and kind of logging that too. That could also be interesting, but be aware, I know we've talked about the health features in these. As with anything else, the health feature tracking only works when you're wearing it, so the watch makes a lot of sense. People will wear it most of the day and take it off charge, whereas the AirPods are things that you tend to wear purely when you're using them for audio, so might not be as useful for stuff that you track over time, but maybe stuff that you track more acutely during a workout. Next up, Evan Rogers asks, iCave answers, will the iPhone and A-series chip naming ever get in sync, or are we doomed with A-series being one ahead for all time? Asking for a neurotic friend. And honestly, I have to say, I don't think Apple cares enough about this, and the reason for that is that if they wanted to change it, the time would have been with the iPhone X when they did that big jump. That was the first time that we'd actually had a kind of number jump, rather than kind of just going up number S for quite some time. So Apple did have the opportunity there. The A11 went into the iPhone X. But yes, I think if Apple wanted to do it, that's when they would have done it, but they didn't do it. And that suggests to me that they don't care. And next, again from Evan Rogers, iCave answers, what would you like to see in a future AirPods Max 2? Not gonna lie, USB-C would probably get me to pull the trigger. Okay, Evan, I love you, dude, but why does it matter what shape the charging cable is? This isn't even something that's going to have a great deal of like wired throughput that's required. So, alright, fine if you want to charge it the same way as everything else, fine. But that shouldn't be the thing that makes you pull the trigger on a $550 pair of headphones. Now, what I think that Apple should be looking at is, number one, at least having wired lossless. But if we're also going to get wireless lossless to the AirPods Pro, I don't see why we wouldn't be getting it into the AirPods Max as well. Now, the AirPods Max, right now, even though you can plug in a cable, you can plug in a lightning cable that goes to a headphone jack, you still don't get lossless over that, which is very annoying, but it does kind of reduce the latency. So if you're recording something, doing calls, that's a pretty good way of using it. What I would say though is the main thing that Apple could do to increase the market penetration of these things is the price drop, and whether that means taking away the all aluminium enclosures and doing something else, I don't know. I think that Apple may well go to MagSafe charging for that as well, with the puck, which sticks to the outside of one of the ear pads. That's all well and good, but that also means that you're going to get rid of the aluminium sides. Maybe you'll have glass, maybe it'll be something else, but that's something else to bear in mind. But I do think that Apple is going that way. I think Apple wants to move everything that they can to MagSafe, and I think that this might be another one of those products that gets MagSafe when it gets its next refresh too. But other than the pricing, guys, let me know in the comments what you think needs to be added to the AirPods Max, because these things look awesome, they sound pretty good by all accounts, they're too expensive for what they are. So let us know what you think they should add. And thanks as always to the Patreons over there. Thank you to you guys for watching. Please don't forget to leave your questions with hashtag iCaveAnswers down in the comments so I can answer them in a future show, and I'll see you in the next one.